So you'll see behind me we have my car, but if we pan that way, you'll see we have a trailer, and if I pan this way, you'll see I have my dad's tractor. So, as it turns out, there's a place nearby that rents trailers. Well, aside from they completely lied about everything about it. So rented the trailer, was told, nope, it's got surge brakes on it and the lights all work, and nope and nope. But towed it home just fine. The trailer weighs about 3,000 pounds, and I believe this little Kubota BX, what is it, 23, runs about 2,800 pounds loaded, so I'm still well within the 7,500 rating of my car. And luckily no big massive hills or emergency brakes I needed. I'm getting used to this hat, but I'm not sure if I want it or not. Anyway, but today's project is to start doing some lawn stuff, as in digging it up. That's why I borrowed this from him, so we can use the backhoe attachment and start my trench. Great little unit. Really glad, really appreciative that he let me use it. Otherwise it would have cost me about $500 to rent an excavator, or even, you know, probably closer to even renting one of these would have still cost me probably $350, $400 by the time I got it and had it delivered and all that fun stuff around. So there it is. I feel bad I got it dirty. I was already playing with it, so the tires are dirty. And anyway, as long as I give it back to him and not broken pieces, we'll be good. So if we come over here, and I do have a bit of a mess, but so my old little trailer, which has already got stuff loaded on it to go to the dump and hasn't gotten there yet, I basically need to trench from about, well, where that yellow wire is coming out of. Whoops, sorry, hand. On the other side there, that's basically the bottom of the panel box. So I need to trench from straight down there out to here, and then we're going to make a turn and go that away. Morning, everybody. So it's let's see, today's Tuesday, so we did all the trenching on Saturday, well, Saturday and Sunday. So if I turn around, you can see we've got progress. And if I flip the camera around, you can see we have more of a mess coming this way. And then we make the right hand corner. Well, from the shed it's a right, from here it's a left. That makes a left-hand turn and goes to over into the shed. So there's one thing I want to skip around this way. We're gonna bypass. So now the shed itself, aside from a little bit of the shed. So the trench itself, aside from having a little bit of water in it because it's been raining the last 3 days, because of course it is all pretty much anywhere from 20 to 24 inches deep, depending on where you are. I was hoping I could see that thing sticking out over here. I cannot. At some point in time, one of the scrap pieces of that heavy gauge wire got tossed into the opening that was the trench. Now remember, the conduit goes that way, so I'm not near the conduit at all by a good couple feet. However, as I'm digging, I got to about here, and somewhere in this pile is that wire, and worms. But at some point I look down and I have a giant piece of cable. Actually, let me go grab a shovel. This will be fun. All right, so I fished it out. At one point I looked down, and in my hole was this piece of wire. And I panicked because, well, you never want to just see a massive electrical cable with a bare end sticking out of the ground at you, especially when you're atop of a tractor and you're trying not to electrocute yourself. Now, I obviously stopped, backed away, and was trying to figure out where this had come from. So we'll throw that back over there. So yeah, I panicked, backed away, tried to figure out what on earth, how did I manage that? Then I realized, wait, the house is still on. If I had just yanked the wire out of something, well, surely it would have killed power to the house, and no. And then it also dawned on me that all my electric is in conduit. this wasn't. And it finally dawned on me, this was a scrap piece that we had cut free during that renovation of 200 to 100 amp. This 4.0 to much smaller gauge wire had caused a byproduct, and we had just tossed it in the shed. So this side just kind of caught the corner of it and it pulled it into the trench as I was making it. Scared the hell out of me though, because I instantly panicked going, wait, no, I know better. This is not how it's supposed to be. And then I realized I didn't have plastic bits of conduit around, so obviously I had not hit my actual wiring as I knew I had, because god damn it, it wasn't even close. Anyway. So the trench is dug. I did take my Cat 6 cable. Nope, it's a Cat 5 cable. And you can see where I've slung that in the ground. So now I can mow over it and not worry. And then obviously once the trench is in, it'll get buried into there, and then I'll finish trenching it in over here as well. Hey everybody. So just to follow up with the original video to give the final update for everything that I've done this week. So far anyway. So in the beginning I showed that I rented a trailer and then borrowed my dad's Kubota tractor, his BX23S, along with the bucket and more importantly the backhoe, and we trenched out the trench for the electric wire. So that is now 90% done. I do have to do a little bit of trimming, clean up with my my shovel, but it's all done. As far as that goes, I need to pick up conduit and wire. Hopefully that'll be this week. After that though, I needed something else to do. So one of the issues that I had, I did put all my ends on my cables. I also finished my patch panel. So I did all my punch downs and got all my strain reliefs on there, even zip tied everything all nice and pretty, and everything worked great for that. I did run into an issue though, where some of my jacks weren't working. I don't remember if I mentioned it, but I started out, let me grab a couple. There we go, let's grab a couple of these. Visual aid time. So I bought a package of these. These are tool-less keystone jacks. So you would actually separate, I cut my nails, but I can't open it. I suck. There we go. So you would actually open this up, they separate, you would feed your wire through the side. Out the ends, you can see we have little color-coded diagrams for A and B wiring standards. You would just stick your ends through there, stick it back together, twist it, it crimps them down onto the connectors, cut off your flush, and you're good. The problem is, this is a standard wall jack, and you'll see I have regular coupler style keystone jacks in here. That's because two of these things side by side, you can kind of see the difference. There's about 1/8 of an inch difference in height with that sucker side by side, so you can't physically put two of these together stacked the way they are. Unfortunately, I have two of these duplex wall plates and one with 6. Well, if I can't put two on them, kind of useless to me. So I bought a bunch of the couplers, and then I bought one of these tools so that way I could put ends on all my cords. And I did that. Almost all of them. I still have 2 more to do over there. But the 2 on the bottom and then the 6 up here, I did punch down in the panel, and I wired them all. The only problem I ran into was that when I went to test everything, I wasn't getting anything except for on port 6. I didn't trace everything out, but the ports I was trying, port 6 was the only one that jumped right to life, so I knew that one was good. So yesterday, I came out and I removed the cover, and I looked at all my wiring in the patch panel, and everything looked great. Then I bought one of these guys. This is a cable tester. It comes with 4 of these little modules, so you can hook these to something and test your connections, which was great. I plugged these in to the plugs that I had put on my wire, popped this thing up, and it tells me right away whether or not it's working. And in the case of port number 1, I put it on backwards. It's the only plug I did it to. All the other plugs were fine. That one, for some reason, I flipped my connector upside down and it literally reversed all the wires. So when I pulled it up on here, it was quite ugly looking. So I cut that off. Somewhere I actually have the piece, but that's not important. I cut that off, I put a new plug on it, tested great, and then I found 2 more ports that the punch downs didn't fully seat, so a couple of the connectors were actually open. So I re-knocked them again with the punch down tool. Everything shows beautiful. So the wiring is now 99% done. 2 plugs on that end solves those, and I need to finish making 10 more of these little jumpers to go between each of the panel, the patch panel and the switch. So that's it for the networking side. The other thing I did was I mounted and installed and wired up my outdoor outlet, my GFCI 20 amp outlet that is in my outdoor box with my outdoor cover running through some heavier gauge 12-2 wire back to the panel. The only other thing I've done was decided not to install my lights, and I'll show you why. This is the light that I have 4 of already in the ceiling, and I've purchased 4 more. They run about 30 bucks a piece on Amazon. They are RGB with white LEDs as well, so it's not just trying to mix them all to make a white. It's an actual real white. Awesome. But the problem is they come with this connector, which would be great if I had existing can lighting, recessed lighting, but I don't. So normally what I had done with those other 4 temporarily is I just cut this connector off as close as I could to flush and then just spliced it in wire nuts to the existing wiring. The problem with that is not to code. Code says you can't have splices, especially just laying in a ceiling on top of insulation and whatnot. They need to be in a junction box. Well, I've already got this splice in the middle, which is not helpful. So what I need to do is to actually buy junction boxes that I can mount to the back of this somehow. This is all empty in here, all the circuitry is down on the bottom, but you can't remove this. But if I can just screw a couple of the junction box screws onto here, I need to mount a junction box on top of each light, cut this off, feed the wiring in through a clamp in the junction box, and then bring the other wiring in this way. Since I do have to put some new joists up on the ceiling in order to drop my level down, and that will drop all the lights down, because I need to do that already, there was no point in me hooking these up only to have to take it all back down again anyway to do it the right way. So I'll save these 4 out for now. They'll get done the right way, and then once I have the new joists up, I have to go get a bunch of new 2x4s, or at least 8 2x4s, so I can at least frame in the lights in the proper spot before my electrical inspection happens. So that's the reason I didn't put the lights in just yet. The only other thing I need to do when I go shopping, determine 1.5 inches or 2 inches on my PVC conduit. I wanted 1.5 because it's cheaper by about 100 bucks end to end, but I may go 2 just because of ease of availability. That said, that is the update. You're all caught up. Trench is dug. I need to order the wiring, and I need to buy the conduit, which will be hopefully Saturday, as well as the extra box for outside. It works fine, the one that I bought, but I want something that's deeper that I can actually close over top of a plugged-in wire just to be safe. And fixed my network cables. I also put up this other light over here just because I had one. Turn this around. You can see I've got this vanity light now stuck on the side of the wall. Obviously it's not wired yet. The wiring is still in this this other fixture here. And I just need to fish it through and actually wire it into here. I don't have any bulbs or anything, but I want to get that done before my electrical inspection gets done. Okay, so now you're caught up with where I'm at so far with this update. Now it's just a matter of waiting on the wiring. And then once the wiring is done, I need 8 more 2x4s so I can get my lighting in the proper position and fully sorted. I do need to pick up a bunch of junction boxes, and I do need to also wire in the outlet on the bottom of this. I have the cable for it already. I just have to Well, I guess do it. Oh, I need to find a clamp for the bottom because the clamp that's on here is not right. That's right. I knew there was a reason I hadn't done it yet. But otherwise, this is almost done with the exception of the little patch cables I need to make. Nobody sells a 3-inch patch cord. And yeah, that's about it. So anyway, thanks for watching this update, and I guess we'll see you after I get my conduit and my wire.